If the edges of your pendant has cracked a little bit, you can just dip your fingertip into the water at your table and you can smooth those cracks out with your fingers. So I didn't get a lot of water on my fingers. I just dipped my fingertip into the water just to get it a little bit wet, and I'm rubbing my finger around on the edges of my pendant just to help make it smooth if there were any cracks in it. My pendant is still a little thick, so I'm going to work on flattening it a little bit more. You can flatten your pendant as much as you want. The flatter that you flatten it, the bigger your pendant will be. And I'm just running my finger on the edges if there's any cracks. Once you have a nice round pendant shape, we get to add some texture. There's a lot of different ways that you can add texture to your clay. We are going to actually use some texture plates. So these texture plates have a texture on them. They're a little bit bumpy. This one kind of looks like pebbles or rocks. This one kind of looks like it might have flowers on it. I want you to pick a texture to put into your clay. And the way that we do this is we're only going to put texture on one side of our pendant. And you can do more than one texture. You can do half and half if you want, or you can pick one. We're going to put the bumpy side up on the texture plate right on top of our mat. We're going to take our clay, flip it over on top of the texture plate, and we're going to use the palm of our hand again. We're going to kind of push our clay right into that texture plate. And if you lift up your pendant, you will see that the texture has showed up. So I can try the other one again if I want to use two. So once again, the bumpy side is up. And I'm going to push my pendant right into the texture. Now I have two textures. Once you have your texture in your clay pendant, we have one more thing we need to do. This is going to be something that we get to turn into a necklace to wear. So what we need is a hole in our clay, but there's a very special place to put this hole in our clay. We don't want to put the hole in the middle. If we put the hole in the middle, then it's going to be kind of hard to put our string around it. So we want our hole kind of close to the edge, but we don't want it so close to the edge that it gets caught up here. If I put my hole right here, it's probably going to crack right into the edge. So I'm going to take my wooden tool, and I'm going to find a good spot just a little bit down from the top, and I'm going to poke a hole into my pendant. And I need this hole to kind of be a little bit big enough for a piece of yarn to push through, so I need to wiggle that stick around. And now I have a hole in my pendant that I will be able to put some yarn through. Notice that it's not too close to the top so that it won't crack. If you flip your pendant over, you'll see kind of a bunch of clay pieces here. We can just smooth that right into the back of our clay. And if we cover up the hole a little bit, we can just put our tool back in and wiggle it around. And this is how you make a clay pendant with texture.